Hello trainers, welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go Battle. I know it's been a while. Season 9's been kind of rough, not gonna lie, but this video will showcase me actually hitting Legend. I did hit Legend in Go Battle Day number 2. This is the second one that we had from Season 9. And luckily enough, it is actually the team, the OG team that got me there from a couple seasons ago. Never really had it to Legends, to push to Legend. Legend was super close, but this season around we did actually get it. I'm very happy about it. And with the new meta with like Trevenant, Sylveon, a lot of poisons and Obstagoons, it was just a really bunch of a headache. But without a doubt, let's jump into these videos here and let's just talk about it. Let's just start off that these videos here are basically highlights from when I started, when my ELO was 2662. So basically I was 2860. There was like a video I had before that got me, I think, it was like 400 points give or take with Master League. But I was struggling quite a bit in Ultra League, and then during the Go Battle Day, those first 40 battles got me way down to 2662. Switched to this team, the OG team. I'm like, man, this is like really the only team that I'm so familiar with, because I was playing around with different teams and some of it was working, some of it was not. It just wasn't getting the nuances right and everything, just the finesse of just how I play. And I just went back to the team and it just worked. I mean, granted, I didn't win every single match, you know, the team is not perfect by any means, but let's just commentate a little bit with this new meta, just my thought process, because it's still fresh in my mind, and just how I just worked these things through when I was playing these matchups. So in this case here, we had a Gliscor lead, so I just knocked down Gallade, because sometimes if I switch into my counter or another Pokemon, which is Sirfetch'd, because both of them are weak to the same thing basically. Charm is the biggest, you know, elephant in the room with this team. So I just let down Gallade, and then I went into Lapras to farm down, and then they brought in their Shadow Machamp. In this case, I went to Sirfetch'd, had 2 shields, and then I'm farming all the way down, so I have a lot of energy to work with. And then I have good old Snorlax here, so we can sneak away with the good old Leaf Blades, but in this case, we go with our good old Brave Bird, and we knock it out in almost one hit. Very close. So this team, without a doubt, you gotta be very aware with your HP, how you play, because just almost every move counts with this team, because the team is squishy. Gallade is very squishy, Fetch is very squishy. Granted, both of them are very attack weighted Pokemon, you know, they're very fast move oppressed Pokemon as well too. And then your bulk is your Lapras. Even if it's a good lead, a bad lead, depending on who you're up against, it can take damage, it can chip away, and it gives opportunity for Sirfetch'd and Gallade to farm down just a little bit of energy, so they're ahead of energy, and then they can come in and obviously, you know, win matches if that's the, you know, how the matchup lines up. So here we go with, you know, Snorlax coming down. Oh, another thing to point out, you know, there's always a topic of debate sometimes when it comes to Skull Bash Lapras, Ice Beam Lapras, and for this team, Ice Beam Lapras hands down. There's a lot of matchups where Ice Beam just works, you know, with Venusaur, Trevenant being, you know, another main meta Pokemon now, some of your flyers sometimes. Certain situations when we're up against a Machamp or a counter, we're almost down on our health, we just go straight Ice Beam because it almost knocks them out in one shot. In most situations, I usually line it up. So there's just a lot of, even Crobat too, you know, there's just a lot of situations where Ice Beam just works. Even sometimes as a surprise factor, that helps a lot for switching up matches. Really, Skull Bash for me personally is those mirror matches against Lapras. In those situations too, with this team, I always try to avoid it as much as possible, because we have Gallade and Sirfetch'd, so you know, you got 2 Pokemon out of 3 that we can't line up to Lapras. I mean, it's bound to happen sometimes, but if you can find that Lapras in a team comp that you may know of, then, you know, it's hopes for the best in that point. You know, it makes it a lot better for you not to be in that situation. So Ice Beam all the way. You know, this team is already as squishy as it is, so it just makes it better to have moves that are just quicker to charge up to, and Ice Beam is a little bit quicker it is than Skull Bash. So, and Ice Beam is what is it called? Ice Beam is also has a little bit of a buff with his attack as opposed to Skull Bash. So here we go. I haven't been I haven't been talking about the matches here as you've been watching, if you may or may not, but you have Escavalier here. This is a little bit of a pain with Escav. You know, he's resisting the confusions and then like the counters as well too. It's neutral. It's just not an easy matchup. Usually Gallade's a little bit better in the sense of that it resists their counters and you can charge up with energy. Here we do the sack swap knowing that they're going to come in with their Dragon Claw, and I knew that Gallade's going to be the winning scenario here. So we throw the Leaf Blade to knock out good old Dragonite, and then Escap goes down with the team. So here we go. Obstagoon. So Obstagoon could be very tricky because you don't know what we have in the back. In most situations, usually have a fairy in the back. Sometimes you have double fairy in the back. But with this meta that we've been seeing lately, it's usually Obstagoon double poison or Obstagoon with Venusaur and Swampert. So what I usually do in this situation is build up to see if I can throw the Leaf Blade first, just to bait out that first shield, and then we go with the close combat again. And 9 times out of 10, like most trainers that go with Obstagoon lead, they stay in and they double shield. And once I get both those shields down, Sirfetch'd comes right in, starts farming up as much energy, and what they usually do is switch, and then this gives us full range as far as what Sirfetch'd can do. And then in this situation, Sirfetch'd is just having a heyday as far as seeing a Swampert and a Venusaur in the back, and we can probably get to the Leaf Blade before they get to a move there, and we win that match. So usually, like I said, I try to see what I can do as far as getting both those shields down against Obstagoon. Throw in Sirfetch'd to see what counter they have. If it is a fairy, at least we can bring in our Lapras afterwards and then deal with that. And then we have Gallade to go full range in the back with the limited health that it does have. So moving on to this match here, we have good old Dragonite. We're just going to go straight for the Brave Bird here. This one's a little bit of a tricky situation. Sometimes I kind of feel it out depending on the trainer or just how I am. Sometimes going just straight Brave Bird is best, but usually if you go Brave Bird and they shield, you don't get the opportunity to get to a second move. So I guess it's a 50-50 toss really at that point, the way that you want to go. If you do go for the Brave Bird, if it is an Apollyon lead, you can go for the Brave Bird, and then you can definitely get to Leaf Blade afterwards, so it does pressure health and or shields. In this case here, I knew that I was going to get to another Leaf Blade, so I shield up with the Gallade, and I go with it, knocking it out. And then we have a good old Heracross in the back. In this case, I was just going right down to the close combat, and we knock it out, and we win that match. GG's there with 1 HP and a Dream. So I do highly recommend having a Gallade in the Sirfetch'd that kind of maximizes out the PvP stat IVs. There's a lot of situations where both of the Pokemon really rely down to its last, 5 HP health. Lapras, I mean, with this meta here, you gotta have a level 40. So I don't have an XL Lapras for this team. If it was, the regular Classic or Open League, I would try to maybe find an XL Lapras, but for the past couple seasons I've been using a Lucky Lapras and it's just been working pretty much fine. There's just, a couple situations where I wish maybe I had just a little bit more HP. Just a little bit, but not that much. I mean, I'm pretty happy for what it is. We see a Milotic here, which is super interesting. This is an interesting situation because I knew that when they didn't want to shield, they're going to rely on both their shields for their Trevenant. So I did not want to shield our Sirfetch'd whatsoever. We try to farm down or at least scare them to throw the move, which they actually do, which is perfect in this situation because it gives Lapras more energy for this Trevenant. Now, I don't know the move counts per se with this Trevenant in this matchup. It almost felt like they could have gone to a C-Bomb. Maybe they were trying to build up to 2, but we managed to actually get enough Surfs to knock out this Trevenant and actually win the match, which is GG's there for this situation. So yeah, it was pretty scary, but trying to find the win comp situations is, the name of the game for Pokemon Go. And with this team being it's a BBA kind of a team, or BAB as some people have been saying it. It's you gotta think a little bit backwards or a little bit differently as opposed to a ABB lineup or ABC lineup. So here we go, another Obstagoon lead, just showing, you know, doing the same old situation here, going for the Leaf Blade first and then going for a close combat. Both shields are down. We have an Shadow Executor, which is crazy. But I wanted to show in this situation that even if the Fairy or a Confusion user, you can get to a Brave Bird when you immediately switch. When you have that energy lead, it gives you a lot of play whenever that switch comes in, even if it's a counter. So that Brave Bird does a lot of damage. We just get to a Leaf Blade, which helps tremendously with this Jellicent. It's not an XL Jellicent, it's up to probably a level 40. And they go for a Shadow Ball here. So I wanted to save the shields for Gallade. In this situation, we know we can definitely survive 2 Shadow Balls. Like I said, our Lapras is our 3rd or 4th shield sometimes. Chips away. They throw in the Obstagoon, which was a good catch by the trainer here. Bring in good old Gallade. We have to shield here. We need to go to the Leaf Blade as quickly as possible. We want to try to maximize on our health here just so we can chip away against the Jellicent. But they actually get to a move right down at that 1 HP. So here we go again. Cutting very close. This is the part where sometimes I wish I had more health on Lapras, just a little bit more. But we are just close enough to the actual Surf. I think they were just about there to another Shadow Ball. They probably have Shadow Ball Ice Beam in this situation. Even so, I don't think Bubble Beam would have knocked us out. But here we go, next match. We have a good old Nidoqueen as the lead. So there's been a team that's been going around as far as... it mixes up a little bit. Nidoqueen, Obstagoon, and Crobat. Sometimes it's Obstagoon double Poison. Sometimes it's Nidoqueen, Obstagoon, Crobat. Sometimes trainers mix it up a little bit as far as their different poison types or even the fighter, but mostly it's usually a Nidoqueen and Obstagoon core. But here we go in the 1 shields. We're pretty much beating the good old Nidoqueen, and we see a Trevenant come in, which is perfect because now we're lined up with our Lapras. We can definitely take a Shadow Ball and I think a C-Bomb, or at least 2 C-Bombs in this case. So I'm just trying to build up to the Ice Beam here, just trying to make it 50-50 in terms of seeing if they're actually going to shield. But again, the trainer switches out on the Surf, make a good old catch. We were a little delayed as far as our, what's it called, our switch, and then they go through a close cross chop here. We farm all the way down. Now we have a lot of play against this Trevenant. Between energy goes, we throw the Leaf Blade, they shield, which is perfect, and then we have enough energy for the Brave Bird to knock it out. So I think they're winning situation here, what they're trying to do, knowing that we have a little bit of energy on our Lapras, is to farm all the way down and then throw the Shadow Ball onto our Lapras and win the match there. So GG's there with that trainer. Nope, didn't cut the footage right there for that second, which is okay. But yeah, I mean, like I said, very surprised that the team worked. Maybe because the meta shifted during Go Battle Day and made things work a lot better. But just very, very happy that the team worked once again for another season. Shadow Lapras as the lead. Lapras, as much as it's a good situation for Gallade, is somewhat tricky because they usually have answers in the back for our team. In this case, we have Trevenant. So we switch into our Lapras again. Again, we're trying to avoid the Lapras if we could in the mirror match, but really Lapras is our only answer for this Trevenant, so we have to just switch in. There's no other option that we really have. Just chipping away as much as we can. We don't have to utilize our shield, which is perfect. In this case, I'm going to be building up to a Skull Bash. We want to fake it out. I know this is a Surf, so we're going to just let it go. We're just going to go for the good old Skull Bash to see if we get a shield, and we actually do, which is perfect. Now I save the Surf and I switch into Sirfetch'd to pull out their last Pokemon. I want to know what their last Pokemon is for sure. So now they're down 2 shields. They're trying to farm all the way down. In this case, I'm going to let go Sirfetch'd. We're going to bring in Lapras. We're going to go throw the Surf because there's no sense of using Surf on Lapras, on their Lapras. So they're going to chip away. We're just short, which is okay. And now we have good old Gallade here. And I think Leaf Blade would have been enough at this, but I just went for close combat, knowing I can definitely survive the Ice Shard damage. And we win that match. GG's there. Not having any intentions, not double shielding, but it is what it is. So Slowbro as the lead. You don't see this too often, but I wanted to showcase this because Confusion users could be a hassle, especially if it's a Gallade lead, which I don't think we've ever seen with this league so far being released in Season 9. But what I wanted to do was switch into Lapras to start building up on some energy. We can kind of take the confusion damage. And they actually had a counter user, Blaziken. So I was actually very surprised that they did not shield there. Very brave on that trainer's part. We don't shield there too because we want to at least save our shield for our Sirfetch'd for that confusion user in the back. And then we see a good old Muck. So this is not very good so far, having 2 shields on Muck. Really our only answer is going to be Sirfetch'd here because we want to align Gallade with Slowbro. Obviously Sirfetch'd does not want to see the confusion damage on itself. So they try to switch in and snipe us, and we switch immediately into our Slowbro. We're going to shield here because we have so much energy, and this energy is going to be released upon the Muck, just so we can actually get that. So we can actually get the shields from this Muck. So we baited first because we have enough energy for a Leaf Blade, and we have one for the close combat. And we have both shields down, and look at that. Good old Sirfetch'd with the good old Brave Bird. Boom, knocks out good old Muck, and we win that match. GG's there. So very, very close. Tried to maximize my energy as best as possible, and it worked to our benefit there. Still a very, very close match, but we did very good there. And we have another Nidoqueen lead. So here we go. We're going to play this out. We don't shield the first one. We're going to go for the Leaf Blade here, see if we get a shield or not, and we actually do. We're going to farm up again to another Leaf Blade. We're going to match shields because we're going to see if we can knock this out. And let's see what they're going to do here. Are they going to double shields? So they don't. They let it go. And they have a good old Swampert. So Swampert has too much energy. In this case, usually I want to say go with Sirfetch'd, but it's not going to play out right. So we have a good old Venusaur here. We're lagging out, which is not great. In this situation, I have to let go Lapras because Sirfetch'd is going to win this match as best as possible. So we're going to go with the Ice Beam here just to see if they shield or not, and they actually do. So again, this is very, very tricky. What we're going to do here is farm as much as possible before they get to the next Frenzy Plant, the second one here. So we're building, 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 and I go with the Brave Bird here, and we let it go. And then we just have enough for the good old Leaf Blade, and we win that match. I think they over-tapped. I could be wrong, because I thought they had more than enough energy for a Hydro Cannon, and it could have possibly knocked us out, but definitely EQ would have made them win that match very easily. I didn't count there, but it is what it is. We actually win that match. It was perfect, but ideally, like I was wanting to show, is maximize on your energy, knowing that you can use that for that Swampert when it comes back, comes back in. So in this case here, we have another Swampert here. They're wanting to duel it out with our good old Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd always wins CMP tie. It can always get to the Leaf Blades without a problem. So we have a good old Nidoqueen again. So in this case, we're going to bring in Lapras to see what they have in the back. And they have a good old Snorlax. So my situation here, what I want to do is build up to 2 close combats and really pressure for that last shield. We don't go for the shield for the first time because we can survive a body slam. And we just made it to our double close combats here. So this is going to put pressure. So they do shields. And then they go for the second. Or we go for the second close combat here. And now we have the Lapras onto the Nidoqueen. And basically we can go Surf or Ice Beam at this point. There's not much that the Nidoqueen can do. Our Lapras is just way too bulky. And we're going to win this match without an issue. So Ice Beaming it out. We win in the 0 shields. Very, very easily. So good old Ampharos as the lead, because we've been seeing quite a bit of Polygraphs as the lead during Go Battle Day and sometimes Crobats. So in this case here, we don't shield first, knowing with a Thunder Punch we can easily survive that. We build up to the close combat and throw the Leaf Blade, because either or is going to do just about the same amount of damage. Obviously the close combat is going to be a lot better. We go down on our Gallade here, and what I wanted to do is bring in Sirfetch'd and start building up energy. We're going to farm all the way down. We shield once, and as you see, we win that match here. We have 2 Leaf Blades ready to go, and there's no sense of... oh, they actually bring in their own Sirfetch'd. So, yeah, I guess they were calling the Brave Bird bait, which they did, which is great. And then they have a Trevenant in the back. So we can easily go with the Brave Bird, and this is going to force that shield, which we actually get. And then we can just build up to the Ice Beam and knock it out and win that match very easily. So again, depending on how the things line up, if Gallade doesn't work but we do get a shield, we can bring in our Sirfetch'd, build up a lot of energy, and we can start applying pressure for their last shield to see if either Sirfetch'd can actually win the match or Lapras with its bulk and the shield can actually win the match. So GG's there with that trainer. It's a little bit different when it comes to matchups with BBA teams, and I'm trying to still figure out how things work out with this team, but overall, like I say, being as unusual as it is, it works out to our benefit very, very well. With Gyarados as the lead, we throw a Leaf Blade and we switch immediately into Lapras because we do get our shields, and now we have a good old Snorlax. So what we're going to do again is build up to a Skull Bash and fake the Skull Bash, see if we either get a shield or not. You know, again, if we can get shields, we're in it to win it. And here we go, we get our final shield. So now we're 2 shields ahead. Lapras has a lot of energy. We now have a Gyarados lead and we have a Snorlax to work with, so our Sirfetch'd is definitely going to be utilizing a lot of the benefits here in this situation. And we actually see a Gliscor in the back, so a very unique team without a doubt. But now that Sirfetch'd has a lot of energy and it's pretty healthy with shields, it's looking pretty good. I actually let go of this Night Slash because it's not effective against us. I think I wanted to maintain our shields for the good old Gallade because it's still very healthy and we can manage the Gyarados very, very easily. So we know that Snorlax has some energy in the back and also Gyarados as well too. In this situation, we do know that this is an Aqua Tail, so we don't shield at all. We can survive it. We throw the Ice Beam at Gyarados. It chips it very, very easily, and then we bring in our good old Gallade. We actually get to use our shield finally, and then a Snorlax comes in and we shield here too. We can survive it, but you know, we just want to have the health. We chip it down. We have enough energy for the Leaf Blade against the Gyarados, and we win that match GG. So very, very, very interesting of a team. Gliscor in the back. A lot of teams have answers to Trevenant. Usually you see the Lapras, the Poison types, the Crobats. Speaking of Crobat as the lead, but we can actually win this matchup with Crobat, I think shielding once and going straight Leaf Blade. But what I usually do is build up to the close combat and just go to a close combat because we actually can knock it out, I think, at that range as opposed to Leaf Blade. So we switch into our good old Lapras. We see a Sirfetch'd, and again, this is the perfect opportunity with Ice Beam. Ice Beam chips it really, really low there, which is perfect, and then we actually get a delay CMP tie, or at least maybe because the damage was that oppressive against good old Sirfetch'd that they wanted to throw the Leaf Blade before they knock out. And now we see a good old S-Cav. So the name of the game here is just go straight close combat. We have the shields here. We immediately switch at the same time to our own Sirfetch'd and their Crobat. So we're definitely going to shield here. And then we're just going to farm all the way down. And we have a Brave Bird for this S-Cab when we win that match. So it didn't really matter which way it really rolled out. But we can win that match without any issues. So, and I think that's about it for our highlights here. Just want to showcase our good old Legends push. 30-19, we get the pose, we get the shirts, all that fun jazz. So yep, there you go guys, we finally made it with our OG team after a couple seasons there. This team has always helped me so far as pushing as close as possible to Legend, and with this Ultra League Premier Classic League back again with no XLs at all, it worked out like a charm, surprisingly. So like I said, without a doubt, just love this team, and if you can get the feel for it, I would recommend it. But if you're not so familiar with PvP mechanics and how things work, this team can give you a lot of headache than a lot of success. So pay attention to it. I do have a couple other videos about it that I posted previously. And yeah, without a doubt, guys, thanks for watching. And until the next episode of Pogo, peace.